Welcome to the Brand Doctor Podcast, strategies that help entrepreneurs build reputable and profitable brands. Here's your host, Henry Kaminski Jr.
What is going on, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. It's a early Brand Doctor Podcast episode for you guys today. We have a special guest from the Philippines, and she has been part of the Unique Designz team now for, oh my God, over 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah, it's been crazy how time flies. And one of the biggest reasons why Unique Designz is able to do what it does today and how I'm able to do what I do today is because of my team. And I'm a firm believer that you cannot get to the next level in your business by yourself. And so Pam has been such an asset to this business. I wanted to have her on the show and sort of help my listeners and help my audience on how to build a more efficient brand by leveraging virtual assistants. I was very, very skeptical, I'm not going to lie, to hiring a virtual assistant because I was used to doing everything on my own, number one. And number two, I was a little nervous about handing over the power and handing over the control to someone from another country who may not have the values or the communication skills. Oh, there was tons of things going through my head, but I got through it. And so today I want to talk about 3 ways to help you build a efficient brand by leveraging a virtual assistant. So Pam, can you share with us a little bit about you first? I want to introduce you and how you began Great Works Online.
Yeah. Okay. So just to give you a background, I started as a virtual assistant in 2009, and I worked my way up from becoming a virtual assistant to becoming the head of project management. And then it was an office-based. From working from home, I shifted to an office-based digital marketing company who has a business here, an office here. And then because I don't have enough time with my family anymore, so I decided to go back working from home, and that's when I met you. And during the time that you and I were working together already, I have this at the back of my mind. I want to put my own business because I've got a lot of questions and people asking, some of my friends, single moms who are asking, how did I do it? Just basically working from home. So I kind of we were working already. So I kind of why not put my own business? There's a lot of scam right now. Working from home, they're going to ask money from you. So I'm like, why not put my own business, help my fellow single moms, and those moms who have been wanting to just have a career, earn money at the same time, and at the same time have enough time for their family, be able to take care of their kids, their family, and all that. So I started Great Work Online, and at the same time working with you, with Unique Designz as your project manager. So yeah, basically just because I want to help people. That's why we are here now.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You are so genuine. And the one thing that I love about you is that you walk the walk before you talked the talk. And you learned the ins and outs of virtual assisting before you went out and tried to build a business around it. How many people out there right now that go out, drop $500 on a course on virtual assistant, now they're a virtual assistant master and they're trying to sell, the service. It just drives me absolutely insane when I see that. And for you to spend that time and actually put in the work and take the business from the ground up, from literally nothing, and built this, that I applaud you for, because not a lot of people are able to do that. There's so many people on my email list that hit me up every day like, oh, I definitely need your services, man. But, and it's 2 months and they still didn't pull the trigger on anything. And I'm like, dude, I can't help you. Only you can help you. So anyway, let's dive in. So number one big thing that will help you build a more efficient brand using a virtual assistant is allowing yourself to give up control a little bit of some of the work. So can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Okay, so I'm just going to give you an example. I think it is better for me to give you an example.
Perfect.
So I was working with David, and I kind of like project managing all his stuff. And, he's a typical client, and he would like, why do I need to give this? He's doing like everything. And I'm like, you need to delegate this stuff. If this is like a repetitive task that's taking up like 5 hours of your time each day, then you are not using your time wisely. So it's, it's a matter of if you decide to get a virtual assistant, you have to be ready in giving up control on everything, because you're not gonna, how do you call that? You're not gonna succeed in everything if you like to manage everything, because literally you can't do everything. You have to manage a little bit, a different portion of your business, which is find clients, build your marketing strategy, whatever you need to build on your business, but admin stuff that needs to be passed on to a virtual assistant.
And Dave, can you speak to that? Because I'm with you, Dave. Like that was one of my issues. That was one of my issues when I first hired a virtual assistant, and Pam wasn't my first one. But giving up that control and allowing them to take over, my email, for example, right? There was a bit of fear there. Can you talk to some of the fears that you had when you hired Pam for the first time?
Absolutely. Pam and I actually knew each other before she started Great Work Online.
Okay.
And I got involved with her. I encouraged her to do it and got involved to help her out get started. And the day came when she said, okay, you need a virtual assistant. You can't keep doing what you're doing on your own. And as every entrepreneur knows or will find out at a certain point, there's only so many hours in the day that you can work. And you can't do everything that you need to have a growing, successful business. You can't do it all yourself within the hours that you have. Something's going to stop you from achieving. And that's the point that I had hit. I was doing everything myself. I run a mortgage brokerage business in British Columbia, Vancouver. And I had hit the point where I didn't have enough hours in the day to do everything and continue to be successful. So my first foray into having my own virtual assistant, which I can feel the pain of people hiring their first VA, was giving up that control. And it wasn't just handing over the username and the password to a piece of software, an online account. It's giving up the minute to minute. What if they do something that's different than how I would do it? And I found out that by allowing somebody to do something differently than how I did it, it was more successful, because posting for Facebook, and now we're working on Instagram and more social media, is not something I'm good at. I'm good at being a mortgage broker. I'm good at finding clients and putting together the deals. I am not good at doing newsletters and communication and Facebook and all those things. So it took me a while to give up that control. So I really feel the pain of our new clients coming in that are reluctant to do that. And all I can tell them is just trust in the system. Working with an agency like Great Work Online takes out a lot of the questions or a lot of the challenges of going to one of these multitudes of websites and just hiring your own VA.
Right.
You have to go through all of the process of interviewing and vetting and checking these people, which is so time consuming, which is why I think a lot of people don't do it. What we offer, our value add, is that we do that vetting. We find the VAs, we interview them, we do some testing, and then move on from there. So we've already vetted these people by the time the client is meeting them for the first time.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, no, I send all my clients to you, Pam, because they're always asking me, how the hell do you get to do what you do every day? And I said, it's Pam. I don't know how else to explain it, right? And it was funny because you had even actually mentioned that there were some other people outside sort of that knew us and knew that we were working together. We're asking you, like, how the hell does Henry get all this stuff done? You know, and Pam was like, well, you know, he built out this team. And to give you to back up what David just said, you know, Pam was the one that got Shirley, my YouTube manager, involved. Pam was the one that got my developer involved. Pam was the one who sourced one of our great designers. And it was like, it just took that pressure and relief off of my shoulders, because I was like, I trust Pam. I know we've been working for a while together. She knows what I like. She knows my standard of work, and, you know, let her do her thing. And I backed off, and she wound up hiring, you know, some great people that have been with us for almost as long as you've been with me. And that's the key. That's the key. So anyway, yeah, because it's very expensive to hire and fire people. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like to do the training and to vet, and the time and the opportunity cost. Yeah. So you want to make sure you pick the right VA, and Pam allows this to happen very easily because she has this vetting process, which is really cool. So I want to move this along because I am kind of tight for time today. But the second thing that I want people to pay attention to is how to hire the right virtual assistant to begin with, right? Mm-hmm. So can you briefly describe what an entrepreneur or what a business owner should have, in place or in line or be thinking about before they go and try to hire a virtual assistant?
I think they need to have really be decided that they are willing to give, let go of control to some of the areas of their business. Example, you, Henry, you're a classic example of having a virtual assistant. You trusted me, but of course it was not like after a month you gave all the password and all that. But it takes a while. I mean, the entrepreneur should have, really 100% decided to hire a virtual assistant. Mm-hmm. 100% sure that he can train the virtual assistant. Virtual assistants are not perfect. They can make mistakes. I did some mistakes before when I was starting. You didn't fire me right away, but it takes a while. You have to be detailed oriented. If not, at least the instructions should be it's not vague. Someone cannot follow instructions if you yourself don't know how to follow the instructions that you gave to the virtual assistant.
Exactly.
So open communication, you have to be clear. You have to be ready that some things you cannot handle yourself. You have to delegate it. So
yeah, and that's one of the. I want to back you up on that because you're that you hit a great point. You have to have, and I'm speaking to all of you guys listening and watching today. You have to have a process in place before you hire anyone, right? Mm-hmm. And because my biggest fear, well, it wasn't a fear. It was this question. I'm ready to hire my team out, right? But I don't know what the hell to give them. I don't know what to tell them to do. Why? Because I don't have any processes in place. I don't know what to hand over to Pam to take care of. So what I did on my own was look at how a job comes in to Unique Designz. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, here's how a job comes in. So I then relayed that process to Pam. And what Pam did, she actually helped me. She looked at it and said, well, if you did this, maybe it'd be a little easier. If you did this, maybe it'd be a little better for the client experience. Maybe if you did this. And I was like blown away. I was like, Pam, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. And she puts all these processes in place, and tightens them up for me. And that's how the business grew. It grew. So I hired Pam in 16, right? So Yeah, from 16 to 17, the company grew 47%. Okay? From 16 to 17. Last year, we grew 37% bigger than we did in 16. Why? Because Pam, I swear to God, Pam is the backbone of this business. Why? Because I connect with Pam. Pam is my general, if you will, right? And she handles all of the rest of the team. There's 16 people that work behind the scenes at Unique Designz now, and they're all virtual. They're on 4 different continents, and Pam manages all of it. That's why I could do these podcasts all day long. That's why I could be on 4 or 5 different strategy calls with clients all day long. And that's where I love to be. So that's where I generate the most revenue. So that's where I want to stay. And
yeah, that's the time, Henry, when I heard someone asked me, how is Henry doing all this? That's the time when you were doing, your email every day, your podcasts, your live, everything. So I'm like, well, Henry hired a virtual assistant, and that's me.
Yeah, you got to invest in people. You got to invest in people.
And the good thing about you, Henry, is that you're open for suggestion. I think that's one important thing for entrepreneurs. You hire a virtual assistant, but you have to treat them like a family. So there should be like an open communication, brainstorming. You're open for suggestions and ideas because you hired a virtual assistant for a reason. You want them to help you grow your business. So if you're not gonna, open for suggestion and ideas, then what's the use of having a virtual assistant?
Exactly. You're gonna spin your wheels, and you're gonna fly right into the pole. I'm just being honest with you. So we have weekly calls. Pam and I have weekly strategy calls every Monday. Then we have team building. We have team building every 2 weeks where we bring everybody on board. Pam facilitates the meeting, and then I have my agenda items. So it's all done virtually, and it is a powerhouse of a team. And what's crazy is I always tell this story. Like when I was building Unique Designz, I had this vision that I was going to be on the 52nd floor, downtown Manhattan, sort of what like Gary Vaynerchuk has right now, right? And then I realized the amount of rent that is, and the amount of overhead, and the amount of craziness that is involved with having like a big, agency in the city. And I said, why can't I have the same thing virtually and literally work out of my beautiful home? And that's what I decided to venture off and do to save the overhead, spend more time with my family. I have a 15-second commute every day. And after this podcast, I get to go to the cafe with my cousin and have a beautiful breakfast. Had I had all of those big offices and stuff, I'd be like restricted. So Anyway, not to go off tangent, but the last but not least, you kind of touched upon this, and I want to shed some light on this, and then I got to roll for real. But you talked about open communication and being open to suggestion. I've met thousands of people over the years. And one thing is people will listen to the suggestion, but they'll never act on it. Right? And that's one of the prerequisites for working with me in 2018. I'm going to give you a suggestion, and I'm going to direct you on what it is that you should be doing for your branding. If you want to say, okay, that sounds good, but I'm going to do it my way anyway, we're not a good fit. And that ain't going to work, period. And so when you have somebody that has this administrative skill, right, and wants to handle all of the tasks that basically what David said, take up a tremendous amount of your time, let them do their thing. That's why you're hiring them. They know their shit when it comes to administration. You know your shit when it comes to getting more customers in the door or marketing your business or the expertise that you in. I see somebody that just joined the Facebook Live who's in the financial space and in the stock space, right? That guy wants to be out there dealing with customers and closing deals. He doesn't want to be sending emails or checking emails and doing all this administrative back end stuff, right? That's where he makes the most money. And so my question for you guys today is this. Look at what you're doing on a daily basis and ask yourself, is this a $500 an hour task or is it a $15 an hour task? It was funny. In the beginning of last summer, I fired my landscaper. I said, my dad bought me a lawnmower for my birthday. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start mowing the lawn. And I'll never forget it. I went out there. I mowed the lawn. My wife almost fell over in the kitchen when she heard the lawnmower start. She actually took a picture of me mowing the lawn and sent it to my entire family and said, I think hell is going to freeze over tomorrow. Henry is mowing our lawn. And so I mowed it, and then I mowed it again, and I never mowed it again after that. Why? Because that is not where I should be spending my time. Right. So I called my buddy Ed back, and I said, Ed, get your ass back here. Start mowing my lawn because I need to be in this office making money.
Right.
And that was it. And so take that little story for what it's worth, guys, and run with it. So, Pam, any last words? Give everyone that's listening and watching your website address so that they can come to you. If anybody has any questions regarding Pam's work ethic and want to use me as a reference or want to ask me about it, working with Pam, I think I've said enough today on this podcast. But Pam, how can people reach out to you and get a hold of you?
You can check us out at www.greatworkonline.com. We also have a Facebook account that is Great Work Online. So yeah, basically they can check us out there. And if they are, entrepreneur who hasn't hired a virtual assistant, you don't have to worry. We're going to guide you how to. We already have a system and process in place. So yeah, and it helps a lot that I started as a virtual assistant. So I kind of know the entrepreneur's wants and needs. And that's it.
You sure do. So quick recap. 3 things that are going to build a more efficient brand with a virtual assistant. Number 1, give up control. You're not going to be able to do it all by yourself. Promise you that. Number 2, get a process in place before you hire a virtual assistant to begin with so you know what the hell to give them to do. Number 2. And number 3, take suggestion, be open to the communication, keep that stream of communication 2-way. If something's bothering you, if there's a task that wasn't done quite right, don't bark at them, don't scream at them, don't fire them right away. Communicate with them and tell them, listen, maybe if we did it, can you do it this way? Because this is the way I need it done, right? And if they make another mistake, maybe you do a 3 strikes you're out rule. I don't know, but give them an opportunity to make it right and take the suggestion that they give you because they are experts in their field just as you are experts in your field. So there you have it, guys. Another Brand Doctor podcast episode for you guys. Hope you got some value out of this. Pam, David, thank you so much for coming on the show. And everybody on Facebook that's watching early this morning, appreciate all of you guys. Real quick, if you haven't joined the Brand Doctor Hangout yet on Facebook, go over to that group right now and come hang out with I think there's 360 of us now in that group, all helping each other build each other's brand up. So come over there. If you haven't subscribed to this podcast or referred it to a friend or a colleague, please do that. And I truly appreciate that. And thank you in advance for that. I'm out, guys. I got to catch up to Cousin Dion because he's got my latte ready for me. So have an awesome day, everyone, and I'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.
You've been listening to the Brand Doctor Podcast with Henry Kaminski Jr. To get your appointment with the doctor, visit Brand Audit at www.uniquedesignz.net.